Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. This reading is totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got a devil, okay? I feel like you're the kind of person that, well, as we kind of typically talk about with Scorpio, you kind of like to keep to yourself. I feel like you have an intensity about you, but you're okay being the lone mountain goat, right? You're okay with sort of doing your work on your own without being bothered, you know. So I kind of feel that there's a situation right now where you kind of just want to be left alone. Yeah, that you're working very intensely on something in your life, and I think we're kind of we're drifting further and further away from something else or someone else, right? Because I feel like there's more and more kind of a solitude in your life, and I kind of feel like we like it that way, but we need some more cards, obviously, right? This can be the sort of obsession that we're so intensely focused on something that a lot of other things in our life are sort of fading out of view, right? Let's see what's going on here. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. We've got, there we go, balance. We've got the adjustment card, Libra energy. We got the star. Got the Ace of Pentacles. You've got, there's a Scorpio power card. You've got your Prince of Cups, which represents the Scorpio energy in action, okay? We've got an eight of Wands. Over here we have the Tower. Over here we have a Five of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and a 10 of Wands. Okay, interesting. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with our little octopus friend, the Eight of Tentacles. Now, this is a bonus reading. As you can tell, my voice is pretty worn out from, I've already done 4 readings today. I was about to leave the studio, and something said, well, you know what, Scorpio needs a bonus reading. As I feel like there is something in your life right now that we're sort of drifting away from something that we once really, really cared about, right? And I wonder if this is kind of a message to you that you need more of this kind of balance in your life because you're headed towards burnout, right? Maybe the obsession here that we have, and maybe this is like, you know, we're on this path here, and this is very, very important to you. But if we don't maintain some sort of balance, if we don't have a way to sort of, I don't know, unwind or reconnect with certain things, we're headed for burnout. Okay, I think you can already feel as if some of the wheels are starting to fall off a little bit. You know, that some of the panels, you know, on the outside of the rocket ship are starting to fall away and fall off, and like it's like you're driving down the road and your car's just like dumping nuts and bolts on the road behind you, and it's like, let's slow down, right? Because we don't want to, we don't want to reach that kind of level 10 kind of critical warnings. You know, it's like you're in the rocket ship, you got all these alarms going off, right? And it's like, you know, the critical faults, right? That's going to require the aborting of the mission. We've got our 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana energies. Okay, we've got fire, fire. We've got water, water. Don't have any air, and then we've got, of course, our earth cards. Okay, so the fact that there's no air cards here is this is air. This is the Libra energy. It's cardinal air. So this is kind of saying like we need to bring more air into it. We need to sort of we need something that's going to fan the flames a little bit to keep it sort of burning right. You know, keep the flame healthy and robust and not let it burn out, right? And so I feel like we need communication. We need to reconnect with other things in our life that are meaningful to us, because right now you're on this path here where the Ace of Pentacles, we've started something and that is all we are thinking of. That's all we want to do, right? That we're consumed with one particular, I don't know if it's an activity or one relationship or one aspect of our life is getting all of our attention. And the Libra energy is coming in that says, hey, we need to reconnect with other things, you know? That maybe we've been getting too consumed, spending a lot of time on one certain thing, whether it's something physical or financial, whether it's a mental or emotional idea or a feeling, or if it's some kind of a spiritual or a creative thing. It's even so much that we can be so focused on our spiritual work that we're sort of like other things that are important to us are sort of fading out. I'm so focused on my spiritual practices that I'm forgetting to have a relationship with my pets, my plants, my people. You know, like that stuff sort of fades away. We need to bring it back because whatever this is for you, whatever this mountain is that you're climbing, and you're doing so with, you got the blinders on, right, is very important to you. And this is going to be wildly successful, right? But you also need to bring in these other energies that are going to be supportive of that. Everything can cluster to exalt you. So if you really want to get to the top of this mountain, you have to bring in the balance, okay? And I feel like that's what the Libra energy is here to do, because otherwise this isn't going to mean much. This isn't going to be all that exciting to you or all that fulfilling if we don't have connections, if we don't maintain the connections with the other things that we find important in our life. Now, you have the star underneath you, so you are following your destiny. It's kind of like saying, well, this is what I'm meant to do in life. Sure, yes, of course. But there's all sorts of other things that go with that, okay? This is somebody that's so fixed on their job that they're neglecting their physical health, or they're not connecting with their family as much, or they're not spending enough time with their pet, or their garden is sort of withered and died in the backyard, you know, because this has been consuming all of the energy. Okay? I feel like you're headed towards burnout here if we don't have this balance. So the star underneath, though, is telling me that, yeah, this is something that you're meant to do. Whatever this path is, like, this is good for you. Keep doing it. Just augment it. Add in some other good stuff, okay? And maybe the Libra energy is saying, well, we kind of have to be very selective about how we do that. It's a very delicate balance. You don't want to take any energy away from, let's say that's a physical health. Let's say you've gotten into physical fitness and you're working out every day, you're focused on diet, you got your supplement stacks all figured out. But it's taking up so much of your attention, so much of your time, that where does the other aspects of your life fit in? Where does your spiritual health fit in? Where does your relationships fit in? Where does your other elements of self-care fit in? When do you relax? When do you play games? When do you go run around and have fun? When do you just sit and be lazy, right? When do you unwind? How do the other things get squeezed out? The more we focus on this one ace, right? The other things in life get squeezed out. Well, we gotta bring some of them back in. Okay, we're a little bit off balance right now. The Prince of Cups here at the top is telling me that you are living your authentic life. You are following your star, and no, we're not going to take that away from you, right? But it is important that you maintain this power. This is the engine of the car, right? This engine is going to burn out if we don't give it fuel. And that fuel has to be the right type of fuel. You can't just put any old thing in the gas tank. Okay? You can't just fill it up with whatever, water or, cooking oil. So the authenticity that we see with the Prince of Cups is you being very aware that, like, you know what? I need other things in my life too. Maybe this is one relationship. That's become our entire focus. Well, it's kind of like you tell your partner, like, look, as much as I love you and I want to be with you and you're the world to me, I also need other things. Like, I need my friends, I need my other family members, I need some alone time, like this sort of stuff. I kind of feel like it's the other way around for you. I feel like you have a lot of this solitude, And it might be that the Libra energy is saying we need to just make connections with other things in life that we enjoy in order to fuel this fire for this main ambition anyway. Okay? So this is about understanding other things that you need in your life, because we're not just one thing. We're not just one Ace of Pentacles, that's what I do and that's all I do. No, you're trying to be a well-rounded person. You're trying to, it could be that you have your central focus, yeah, that Ace of Pentacles. But the other things need to surround you in order to support that. So we need our friends, our family, we need our playtime, we need time to just kind of veg out, we need to get enough sleep, we need to make sure we make the connections with the other things. We have to give a little bit of time to a lot of different things, right? And maybe your main thing is work. Maybe you work 10, 12, 15 hours a day. So those other few hours, they need to be very carefully apportioned. They need to be very, very carefully allocated to other things that have meaning for you. And if it means that we may have to cut down a couple of our hours at work or something, or find a way to sort of lighten the load, right? So we can connect with other things in our life that we need, okay? That we need. And I think it's people. I think what we need is people, because we see the Five of Cups in your environment here, and the Five of Cups in the environment is saying that we're not experiencing a lot of harmony in our life. That here we are climbing this mountain, rugged, beast mode, devil energy, endurance, perseverance. We're climbing that freaking mountain, right? We're not going to be able to do it very long. The Eight of Wands is a flash in the pan. It's kind of saying like your energy is going to fizzle out. It's like a firework in the sky. It's really intense and beautiful for a second, but then it's gone. Okay? We want to keep it going. We want to be able to sustain this effort over the long term. The relationships are not there for you yet. Okay, there's some disharmony or disappointments in your relationships. It could be that we're not really tending to our relationship with our friends or our family or our pets, our plants, our people. And so it feels like something's not perfect, not ideal. And we need to work on these. We need to restore the balance of these relationships, turn this into a 6, right? Give this a little bit of attention, and this relationship, instead of being a 5 of Cups, can be a 6 of Cups. Instead of being a disappointment, it can be a pleasure. It could be something that sustains us and fuels us and helps us grow and helps us climb the mountain even better. When your relationships are good, your family, like your relationship with your parents, your kids, your spouse, your friends, and all this stuff, when we feel like all those relationships are good and solid, they support us. They lift us up. It makes us feel like we have more energy to do the things we need to do, So I feel like this is the big thing for you. The big sort of, the thing that needs to be addressed, okay? The thing that we're trying to balance and harmonize, and we're trying to give a little bit more attention, maybe to all relationships. Maybe there's one or two in particular that you can identify that you sort of wish were more there. That's where we need to divert a little bit of our attention, okay? And I think that we can do that with the Eight of Wands too, because maybe the Eight of Wands is saying that there are some leakages to our energy. As much as we are trying to put all of our gas into climbing this mountain, well, if the car is not a very well-maintained car, it's going to be leaking energy. So we may be putting in way more hours into climbing this mountain than we need to because we're not operating efficiently. So if we can figure out where our leakages are, it's like you keep having to fill up your car with gas. Well, maybe you got a gas leak. Maybe some fuel's dripping out somewhere. Maybe you're burning oil and that's causing the engine to work harder or something, right? And you're burning more gas. So if we can fix the car, then maybe we can get things done more efficiently and we can have more time to sort of spend with, with doing other things, other interests even, pursuing other hobbies even, okay? Life would get pretty dull if all you did was that one thing all day, every day. You got to have a little bit of variety. You got to have a little bit of other things that can either just distract you from this work or that can inspire you toward this work. Other ways to be creative even, Okay, think of someone who's in a band, right? And it's they're in one band forever for the rest of their life, and that's it. They're going to be pretty bored. They're going to burn out. So what do a lot of musicians do? Well, they play in different bands. They've got a lot of projects going on. It's not just one thing all day, every day. They're diversifying their life a little bit, and that keeps it interesting, see? So that might be a little bit of our Eight of Wands as well. Now, the Tower. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. The readings are totally free. The Tower is this feeling inside that like something's breaking down. That, it's the feeling like, okay, I don't know how much further I can keep going. And so we realize that there is a need for change. And the Tower, I think, is kind of an awakening. It's kind of a turning point in life. It's a peak experience. It's sometimes something like really shakes us to our core. So I don't know if something happened recently that was sort of an eye-opener for you. And maybe it's like, maybe we got sick. Maybe we made a mistake that was like really scary because, oh my gosh. I remember there was one time a long time ago, I was driving by myself, and as I was a kid, and I was so burned out and I was so tired that I was driving home from work, and I drove straight through a stop sign, and I just right across the avenue, and cars were going by in front of me and behind me, and I got to the other side of the intersection. I pulled over, and I was having a panic attack because I didn't even. I was like, anyway, dangerous, right? Don't do that. But that's sort of the feeling here, and I wonder if something like that happened for you, where you kind of you made some kind of a mistake you're using like a skill saw or something, right? And you almost like cut your finger off, and it's just like, oh my God, like it's a close call. It's like one of those oh my gosh moments, like that could have been that could have just ruined, that could have been a complete disaster, right? Beyond belief. But it wasn't. So use it as a wake-up call to say, okay, I've got to change. Maybe I need to get more sleep at night or something, Like think something has to change, because that was something that gets your adrenaline pumping, and you're like wide awake and you're fully conscious, and you're never going to forget that experience, because that's a Tower moment. It's a moment where the salience is like 1,000%. And we're wide awake, and our body is activated, and we're recording the whole experience. And it's because it's kind of got that fight or flight aspect to it. That adrenaline's pumping. Yeah. Use this as a wake-up call. All right. Use it as a wake-up call, because there is a need for us to. I feel like maybe this is about getting more sleep, about getting more time to unwind and relax and pursue other interests in order to replenish your energy. Okay. The Five of Cups, like we said, is there's some disharmony in your relationships, and that might be too. And if you're not well rested, you're going to be more cranky, right? And so we're not going to be relating to people very well, and we're going to have difficulty maintaining our relationships. Okay. The Three of Pentacles is kind of this is what we have to get over, the fact that there's always more work to do. This is Mars in Capricorn. This is Capricorn. I'd watch the Capricorn reading if I were you, because this is, this is like saying, well, I can't rest. There's more work to do. I can't quit. There's more mountain to climb. Like something is like, and we've taken up too much overtime at work, or we're working double shifts every day. That's a lot. And the thing is, like, the work will always be there. And so we say, well, I can't, I just got too much to do. Well, yeah, but there will always be too much to do. So we've got to figure out something now, because this isn't going to change all by itself. We're going to burn out, right? So the amount of work might stay the same. But if we keep saying, well, I can't change now because, well, there's too much work to do and I have to do it, we're sort of condemning ourselves to failure, right? To that burnout and that sort of the self-destruction. So if that's the idea, that there's so much work to do and it's always going to be that way, that's never going to change. We have to rearrange something now in ourselves intentionally, so that we can be healthy, basically, right? And whatever that requires, yeah. Because the Ten of Wands is, and maybe it's really a matter of like asking for help, getting other help in, or finding ways that we can recharge our batteries and replenish our energy. Because the 10 is like it's a level 10 critical fault where things are not going to continue going the way they're going. And so it is a need for a slowdown, right? It's a need to sort of recharge our batteries. It may be that we are feeling an exhaustion and a fatigue that is, there's no end in sight unless we do something differently. All right, let's look at our mystery card. I can see why it felt like this was kind of an urgent message. And the reason why I stayed in the studio here. So the mystery card, I would like this to be something about a replenishment of that water energy. Maybe Empress, maybe maybe a Six of Cups, that'd be nice. I think a Three of Cups would be good, or an Ace of Cups. Okay, some kind of water energy anyway. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Queen of Swords. This is at least an objectivity. This is at least you getting a bird's eye view, a bigger picture. Like, take a step back and look at things. And you might be able to see like, oh yeah, like this is a never-ending quest. And if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm barely going to get through the next week, right? So we can see that our approach to things now is not sustainable. And so we need to make some alterations, whatever we can do, whatever it takes, so that we can endure for the long term. Otherwise, this will be like a sprint. We're sprinting now. But this is like a marathon. This is a 26.1 mile race. Why are we sprinting? You know, let's figure out how to do, let's figure out how to make it a little more efficient for ourselves so we can actually get through this. Okay? And to do that, we have to take a step back. We have to take a big look at things and say, okay, this is going to be the next few years of my life, and it's going to be the same level of work, right? Or maybe even more work. So I got to figure out how to sort of adapt to how to make it work now, because it's only going to get harder. And if we can get that bird's eye view, we can see like, okay, I'm using up the gas. It's like those cars that have the miles per gallon on there. It's like, okay, I've got a 300-mile road trip, but my dashboard says I've only got 150 miles left of gas. That doesn't work. Something's wrong there. Either I have to shorten the distance, or I have to somehow fill up, or somehow I got to pay for more gas, because obviously I'm not going to make it. The math just doesn't work, right? And this is that card that's sort of having that realization. Okay, we're going to do a quick extended reading as well. All right, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner, and there's a link in the video description. New readings for Scorpio, usually Wednesdays and Saturdays. This was, like I said, a bonus reading for you. Be sure to watch both of your other readings. If you want to watch the readings on the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com or find me on Patreon. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. These readings are free, okay? I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.